So the topic is operating systems and software. Just not to delve deep, no? Pero we'll find out how anong usage nga importante gid sini. Kaya natin differentiate natin mga softwares available kag magamit natin soon. So distinguishing hardware and software given naman but we should also describe difference between application software and system software, and describe the three categories of systems program. And we also have describing operating systems for microcomputers, and describe the network operating systems or the NOS. And a few language naman aton terms and definitions. The basic input output system, among BIOS, application software, booting, GUI or the graphical user interface, language resistor, the Linux, the Mac OS, MS-DOS, multitasking, the NOS or the network operating system, and the system software, Unix or other user interface, utility program, and of course the Windows naton, commonly used naton nga OS, Windows, embedded CE, and Windows Mobile. And to start, define na naman dalawa ang hardware and software. The physical aspect of a computer or of our computer equipment that can be seen and touched are your hardware. Whereas ang software naman, the set of instructions issued by the computer so that we can do our specific tasks as performed. So example, when we type out our document, we use MS Word as our software to write, to format or edit certain document or information, tapos naman i-print out natin. So the basic types of software are your application software and system software. Where when you go with this application software, this is the productivity software that are designed for the end user, ang natin word processor. As kung matandaan ito digad, may columns na to sa mga examples natin sa mga application software na. But on these topics natin, we only focus on our office mga common naton yung mga application software yung ginagamit naton for our mga works sa mga workstations naton, no? Sa example naton mo gining Word, Excel, among MS PowerPoint. Also we can also use Outlook for emails and mga related nga office applications. So defining again for system software, it is programs that control the resources and operations of a computer system, including the operating system, utilities, and language translators. So defining the OS, it provides an interface between the user or application program and the computer hardware. So when you tune up an OS, no, first things first yun natin, pabaka natin sa ating PC, mangita ta sa OS, ano gamiton ng OS, anong basic ang suited gid sa aton hardware, so we can be able to utilize our applications program that can communicate to our hardware nga mo ning ma-execute sa aton nga application program or application softwares nga we will use for giving the instructions and operations to the hardware. So in this visualize natin ang interface natin between users and computers, so we use an OS through application software not to communicate with the OS and giving out instructions to our hardware. So ang chief ang matulinang aton yun ang CPU ang manang ma-process ang commands naton to maginhaboy naton through the application software, which is then managed by our operating system. So amo to execute to kung may storage ka nan lang ihaboy ni sa hard disk, so kung may output ka nan lang dili naman ihaboy sa printer. So this is cycle and this is upon it goes input and output device naton naman ang display sa aton nga output device displays ang result, whereas ang input device gabaton sa commands and instructions. So we also have utility programs to keep our maintain balay mo naton nga do housekeeping functions ang aton nga computer. So may examples din sila, formatting a disk, copying a file, backing up hard drive, mga formatting tasks to make sure nga ang sectors ng atong hard disk are functioning well, wala sa mga errors or ma-detect man siya kung error na i-notify mo kita. And for our language translators, they convert English like software programs into machine language, in which our computer can understand and execute. So example natin diri sa Visual Basic Programming, no? The translator would change each of the Visual Basic Programming statements into a machine language. So if this is coded on the front end, no? Kung mag-click ka mag-code ka sa Visual Basic, kung anong tsura sa mga sa front end mo sa user mo nang yung design mo silang interface. Tapos kung i-click mo certain button bigyan yung program mo, ang backend sana is a sort of a script or a list of commands that would translate that instruction into a machine language so that the computer will then be able to execute that, understand it, and then execute it later on. So our computers have OS in our microcomputer operating systems. Then the type of interface nila is command line and graphical. So all the early versions ng computer natin, they only use a command line and a keyboard to give out the instruction and display also the result. So several popular operating systems nga available na sa microcomputers are DOS, or disk operating system, a combination of DOS and Windows and standalone version of Windows. So early computers uses command line interface. As mentioned, kung makita nyo sa mga movies or setup, you type in command sa monitor nyo using the keyboard, tapos kung execute siya, ang i-display is also a list of the commands or list of text, lines of text lang sa display. So that is your disk operating system. Nag-invento ni isang IBM sa 1981. Typing each command to execute a file, a certain instruction. So it can only run one program at a time, but it's still magyapon sa mga current natin yung mga OS, no, sa Windows natin. When you type in sa search natin ng command, magawa na siya ang DOS nga platform nga application program na siya, pero it will still display ang iya nga command line interface nga setup. So mo ni tsura niya kung i-type mo. So ang isa ng example is using the ping command. Kung mga baga ping, you will ping out a specific website to check on if ga-connect ato sa mga amotang website. So for a standard connection nga successful siya na-connect, amo niya i-display. So ping na pag-ping na dire, type in ping, then the website, amo na yung reply with the time and TTL na this is the time na garo pag-execute na isa ka command, and then mapping statistics siya, tapos amo ning receive packets na 4 lang. Packet sends 4, receive 4, then lost 0 wala. So successfully connected na yung iyang command niya ni. So sila makita man kung wala sa connect, ping lang, tapos gali liwat na ning amo ning line, pinging sample website with the 30 bytes of data, tapos maabot sa dalom request timeout na siya. So kung mag-abo na, that is successful connection or may problema na yung internet sa mga PC. So when we define naman GUI naman, graphical user, makita mo siya, it is easy to use, tapos represented sa mga symbolic desktop siya. So this is looks like a virtual desktop in the virtual workplace mo, kung hindi mo ginamot ang mga libro mo, mga files mo, mga notebooks. They are represented by icons, no. Programs nato as well gina-represent sa icon. So you use a mouse, usually may mouse like what we use today, no. We use a mouse to click on the icons and execute the command. So as point out dire, mo maning command siya, click on the icon to execute or open a program. Okay, so graphical mo ning typical example naton. When yung startup na may sila may mga recycle bin, folder na tong sa my computer, mga files, ano ni mga antivirus, and then sa lower left mo silang diring startup, start menu na ton, and then the right, lower right ang mga time, ang mga other nga mga shortcuts sa functionalities nga ara sa taskbar as we boot up the computer. So defining again for Mac OS, this was introduced in 1984. May GUI man siya, pero si Microsoft nag-develop man sa iyang nga GUI nga OS nga Windows naton in 1983. And later on sa 1985, Windows 95 version was the most true, mga bago true klaseng operating system. So amo nang magando the most stable version of the Windows ever since nga naging develop siya sa 1983. So later on damo man sa makita natin yung mga trial and error nga ginobra sa Microsoft as they develop their OS nga maging bag-o naging siya hasta nga sa subong nga ginagamit naton na may Windows 11 naman on its beta version pa man, mga baka beta, it's testing period pa siya gapon, prone to mga errors but still continuous nga gina-update o gina-patch sa Microsoft man kag ginadungan nila ang system. So defining Windows 98, June 1998 siya nagwa. It was introduced as the first integrated web browsing naton. Enacted this tab-like with a browser-like interface. Kung what makita naton subong diri naman sa Windows 98 na-adapt na ni siya, although mawala ton guro nga mas ang iya graphics amo tanga medyo medyo obsolete pa gid kay wala pa sila daw mga bagong nga graphics nga high-end nga graphics card mo. So the newest operating system nila is ang Vista. Because of the Vista as having the live icons in the struggle firewall, but dito on naging evolve naman ang nga features natin as well as pag-evolve naman sa aton ng mga OS ng Windows. Always while clicking the power button for start in menu or shutdown niya is amo nang apan naton nga option, the start, sleep, and hibernate. Shutdown is delete, so it's shutdown. Kung mag-sleep naman is sort of a power saving option. So kung pabayaan mo sila yung settings na sa isa ka OS, kung mga default settings niya makita mo nang after several minutes nga naka-idle ang inyong system while yung tandog ng mouse or keyboard, it will go into a sleep nga sleep mode na siya. But you can also check nga hindi siya mag-sleep or set nyo lang nga kung after pila pa ka oras hindi siya mag-sleep mode. So hibernating naman amo na yung also a power saving option but allows you to return some programs and files. So in embedded operating system, this embedded technology is used by developers to create borders and devices. So given sa bumababa sa aton ng mga mobile phones, these are examples of our nag-operate sila using the embedded technology or the microchip technology, in which they use operating systems also to make them function. So using a ROM chip used in small handheld computers and wireless communications devices such as our PDAs or our smartphones. And defining a Unix is also another operating system. It was originally developed by AT&T, but its purpose is used for scientific research and programming. It is considered as a multitask portable operating system and can run on any hardware platform. And later on, there are variants na na-develop. Among example natin ng Linux, no? Batayan niya maguro ang Linux nga OS, pero hindi siya user-friendly. Mo siya sa mga programmer nga level. Kag sa mga science nga use kay may specific man sila nga mga programs nga ginagamit nila for function for purpose it is for scientific studies ko mga research. So amo ning IBM's is also the same a variant of the Unix OS that was developed in the years. So the term is boot up, mga boot up process of starting a computer. So as you start a computer, the initial command is it will operating system commands amo nang mauna masulod. So each operating system boosts or starts the computer in its own way. So usually kung makita nyo ng um, sa mga old nga no, sa mga old version sang OS kung i-on mo siya, magawa ng ano, may option na siya nga i-load. May load na siya nga mga info sang BIOS mo. But you will have to click a certain keyboard for please delete the enter setup or please press F12 o mga masunod na sa BIOS. Tapos dira nyo naman set dahil yung ano, mga info ang kinanlan nyo. Like, ang command dira ang ginubra naman is islan mo ang boot sequence. So, when you start the computer, no, kung example, ano mo siya, ma-install ka pa lang sa ano, OS through or ma-install ka yung OS through USB, you can print it sa BIOS. Ang USB yung ano, amo nang una niya i-boot up. So, before siya mag-load din sa iya nga regular nga OS na nang inog islam mo, it will go through first sa flash drive mo kung din ang new OS ang inog install. So each operating system mo man ang depende sa yapon sa setup niya. And then pag once nag-load na ang OS mo, dara na dayon ang mga computer programs mong regular mga application software amo na siya mag-load. Depending on kung anong startup programs i-allow mo or ang iba niya it will load upon niya kung i-click mo na sila. So amo ni BIOS is activated followed by a series of diagnostic tests. It will usually test for ano for the boot record, tapos ang boot record mo ma-load sa RAM. These are programming configurations for your hardware, no, and software applications that are installed on the computer. And then the software drivers are loaded. So these drivers are what enable you to use your printer, your other peripheral devices, and then the GUI is loaded. So pag load sa GUI, makita na usually before na siya mag-load may mga Windows na logo or Windows na loading, mabalan siya na loading. And then the OS will read those commands to your desktop tapos mo na configure kag mga programs na ang nara sa startup folder nyo mo naman niya ay load niya along with as the graphic user interface ng inyong desktop is loading. So kung wala problema, if everything goes as it should, magawa na ng inyong GUI tapos pwede nyo na magamit ang inyong computer. So sharing files independent of OS, it is often necessary to share these files across operating system platform. So using a file share solution is an emulation card loaded sa atom board that gives the computer the ability to run programs for another OS. That's what you call remote setup. Na kung example we have a server computer, no, kag may mga nodes tatong mga end user computer nga ara sa mga ibang lugar o sa within sa office nila, example sa computer lab. The server computer will command that specific nga node computer nga mag-load ng siyang OS. But it will only run the program from its end. Siya ang command but ang back end ito ang other end ito mo nitong node computer mo nito mag-load sang iyang OS kag mo na mag-run sa iyang GUI. So other solution saving files in the format that is readable is using that text or makita nyo ng text files. So if you get the time to look sa sa system files sa inyong folder sa inyong sa inyong computer, makita nyo na mo nilagay sa mga text naka text nga mga mga script kung buksan mo isa wala manunod kay nakaano siya line ng iyang coding. May mga words sa mga symbols but is for for the use of the OS get for executing its system settings. So kung mag-define naman with network operating system, amo na ito ang network server as a server and allows a group of computers or clients to be connected and to share resources. Pwede naman masugo ma-boot up or ma-shutdown. So the main goal of this operating systems to make the resources appear as though they are learning from the client computer. So multiple tasking of of this kind computers are connected to your network operating system to a network server computer. So to summarize, balik naman to sa mga hardware na definition naman eh. Physical is hardware, then software is programs and digital version of the instructions and the applications that we use to execute our commands and instructions to the computer. And the two basic types of computer software are the application software and system software. For us, application software also known as productivity software. System software coordinates and controls the resources and operations of the computer system. And the three categories inside the computer software are the operating systems and utilities and the language translators. Operating the systems, this provide the interface between the user and application program with the computer hardware. And we use utility programs to complete specialized tasks such as file management. Of course, language translator, no, English software programs into machine language, whereas a programmer also uses programming language to write program statements in its end of a machine language na pwede ma-read. So given all computers have OS, they could not function if they don't have madiretso lang command. And the user interface is the part of the OS which we are most familiar and what is widely used sa subong nga mga tiempos ng technology naton. So common user interface are command line and graphical interface. So kung Mac, sa mga Mac users, no, it was developed by Macintosh computers. So and also they have their own OS and UI man Mac operating system. And icons, ang mga represent ng aton documents, programs, and this, and so forth. And the introduction of DOS in IBM PC in 1981, it is a hardware-based operating system and it led to the development of Windows later on 1983, which got an operating environment and also Windows 95 as the first true multitasking operating system. Embedded CE for Windows, a scaled-down version of Windows for small handheld computers. So later we also have Android and one of mga OS sa smartphones. Android is also a mobile version of an operating system. And we have Unix Linux as also considered as portable operating systems. And defining the network operating system allows the group of two or more microcomputers to be connected and commanded na pwede sila mag-execute sa ilang instructions sa ilang side. So several methods are available for sharing files for different operating systems. So that's it for OS naton at how our system software is defined and function. Any